In this video, I'm just going to look at a couple of the key strengths and weaknesses of budgetary policy. This will be a really quick video just to sort of analyse some of the key benefits of budgetary policy and weaknesses. So some of the strengths. First strength of budgetary policy, particularly over monetary policy, is that it can target certain sectors of the economy. So for example, if there's a high level of youth unemployment, they can target that sector of the economy and try and improve the skill level of the workforce. If there's a high level of unemployment in certain states, that they have the scope to try and provide subsidies and provide assistance to those particular states. They can decide to provide more assistance for pensioners, for example, or immigrants or anything like that. So the government can really hone in and target certain areas of the economy if they think there's a problem, rather than with monetary policy that really can just increase and decrease interest rates and can't actually target particular areas of need. They think there's too much negative externalities associated with pollution, and they might target certain industries that are noted for being bigger polluters. The budget is very effective in redistributing income via taxes and welfare, so they have the power to change marginal tax rates to try and make high income earners pay more tax. They have the power to increase welfare spending. They can put more money towards childcare subsidies, pensioners. They can target areas of the economy that they want to, and they can be effective at redistributing income back and making it more equitable for people across the economy. The budgetary policy is also quite flexible in the sense that it can be used throughout the year and have little mini budgets. If, for example, the economy is growing slower than we think, they might employ expansionary policies to increase the rate of economic growth if that's an issue for the economy. So it's flexible in the sense that they can change their policy mix if things are changing or growth or other issues are emerging throughout the year. Some of the weaknesses of budgetary policy is, one is the implementation lags are quite long. And what I mean by that is a policy can be announced and it can take 6 months to a year before it actually ever gets passed through the Senate. So each policy that gets announced needs to go through the House of Representatives and then through the Senate, and that can take quite a long period of time, particularly if we've got a hung parliament and nobody's got majority. That can take a long time to try and get through things as all the Liberals and different parties fight with each other to try and see whether they're going to implement these policies. So implementation lags are quite long, and political hurdles often prevent or slow policy measures from being implemented. So they can be blocked in the Senate, and therefore they don't have the impact that they would like to. The other problem with budgetary policy is that there's a political bias associated with budgetary policy. So, for example, coming up to an election, they might implement certain policies that aren't going to maximise our living standards, but are really just in the interest of trying to stay elected. They also like to appease certain groups because they might be people that pay a lot of company tax, or they might represent a large portion of voters. So often the government might, try and help their relationship with multinational companies because they want people to come here and pay company tax. That can often make them a little bit more biased in terms of the types of policies that they implement. So they may not be also always doing things in the best interest of society. They might be just trying to appease certain groups. That's all.